How many of you still rewatch your favorite childhood cartoons? And this is not a rhetorical question. To me, rewatching them feels like opening a time capsule to a time where my biggest worry was missing an episode just because I had to go to school. Cartoons are not just a mode of entertainment for kids. They're a way to grow, to learn, and to even heal. As adults, they ground us in the comfort of our childhood and gives us the joy during the hustle and the bustle of life. Yo-yos. Imagine a world where yo-yos could change lives, where elephants in suits spoke formal Arabic, and where cultural values were carefully meshed into colorful animations. That was the world Spacetoon created for kids in the Arab region. Launched in 2000 and currently headquartered here in Dubai, Spacetoon is not just a kids' TV channel. It's a cultural revolution. It crossed over 22 different countries and had over 230 million viewers. It's a bridge that connected different generations, different languages, and even different cultures together. It took global animations, ones that were made in Japan and the US, and transferred them and dubbed them into Fusha, or what we call modern standard Arabic. It took something that was only taught in schools back into our own homes, making us learn it effortlessly. And it wasn't only the Arabs who picked up Arabic that way. Also, non-Arabs living in the region claimed that Spacetoon helped them learn Arabic the proper way. In fact, a study by Dr. Muhammad Jassim from the University of Thiqara in Iraq showed that preschoolers who watched cartoons in Fusha learned it and spoke it better than their own dialects, using perfect grammar and advanced vocabulary, all without any proper classes. And what made Spacetoon truly special was the fact that it understood its audience. Kids like me who wanted representation on the big screen, and parents like my own who valued stories rooted in cultural and Islamic values. Detective Conan, Al-Muhaqqaq Conan, he had a girlfriend. She was turned into a fiancée. Curse words were turned to things like ma'as-salame and may God bless you. Clothes were made more appropriate without losing any of its creativity. In fact, a study by Dr. Umar from the University of Ataturk in Turkey showed that kids who learned using cartoon had better and stronger conceptual development compared to traditional play-based learning. And now to my favorite part, Fulla. She was a doll with black hair and brown eyes. She wore traditional clothing. She was not just a doll. She was a symbol of Arab representation. She showed us that our culture was not something to hide away from, but it's something to take pride in. In fact, a study by the Islamic Studies in Iran showed that marginalized groups who had representation on the big screen had better pride in their own identity and less internalized stigma. And Spacetoon, for me, was a big reason I am who I am today. All the cartoons I grew up with gave me a trait to take pride in, a hobby that I practice right now. Horseland, a show I watched at 12 years old, is the reason I take horse riding classes right now at 24. Digimon, Abtal Digital, is the reason I run after every adrenaline rush I can get myself into. Detective Conan, Al-Muhaqqaq Conan, is the reason I'm into great stories like Sherlock Holmes and the stories by Agatha Christie. Rimi gave me a song to sing for my mother every Mother's Day. أمي كم أهواها أشتاق لمرآها. Today, I collect figurines, I cosplay anime characters, I devour detective stories. And all of that started with Spacetoon. In fact, as a Syrian, a big part of why I have a huge pride in my Syrian roots was the fact that I know Spacetoon was brought to life by the Syrian voice actors and talents. Arab creativity was shown around the world through the big screens Spacetoon provided for us. Actors and voice talents and writers all had their big debut on the screen because of Spacetoon. And it wasn't just creativity that blossomed, friendships as well. 7 years ago, on my very first day of university in a completely foreign country, I jumped into a car with a girl I've known for 5 minutes. She could have been a kidnapper for all I know, but she turned out to be a doctor like myself. She is my best friend of 7 years. And all of that was because we jammed to Spacetoon songs together. My mom always tells me, Kholoud, حبيبتي, متى رح تكبري? Kholoud, my love, when will you grow up? Until I tell her and show her that every Spacetoon concert I've attended included hundreds of people my age and older introducing their kids and their grandkids to their culture through Spacetoon. And I confess, as a doctor now, navigating through the complexities of medicine, I still seek refuge in the songs that Spacetoon gave me growing up. القوة في الحكمة وفي نبل الأفكار نملك الخيار وخيارنا الأمل هيا قولوا النصر نريد. Every song was not just a song. It was a mantra that pulled me through the thick and the thin of life. To me, and maybe to many of you, Spacetoon and the cartoons we grew up with are a huge pillar of who we are today. So, I implore each and every single one of you, go back home and revisit your childhood cartoons and childhood shows. The shows you watched, the passions you grew up with. Make sure you weave them into your lives today. Because just because we grew up does not mean we have to lose the innocence and the joy that shaped us today. And sometimes the key to moving forward lies in looking back. And as Spacetoon has always taught us, ما دام الأمل طريقاً فسنحيا. As long as there is hope in our path, we shall live through it. Thank you.